Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to Tech Growth Stocks channel. Today I present you a new episode. Specifically, I will give you 5 strong online retail stocks for 2021. So these stocks are in the online retail space and they have excellent growth and strong momentum as well. So I think it definitely pays to watch that video until the end and have a look with me at all of these strong online retail stocks for 2021. So before I start right off with the first online retail stock, I have to make a short disclaimer. This video does not constitute financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only, so please consider that. And also one more quick note, please subscribe now to my channel with a link in the description below so that going forward you do not miss any market leading stocks from me. So please subscribe now. Okay, so that was it for the intro. So let's start right off with the first online retail stock for 2021. And it is, as you can see, FBRR, Fiverr International. Here you can see Fiverr International was an IPO in June 2019. And after its IPO, it formed a nice IPO base here. It could break out of that IPO base around April 2020. And form a nice and very strong uptrend since then. In the short-term chart, you see a nice uptrend here. You see recently we had a short-term base here. We broke out of that base, built like a high handle or a new short-term base, and we broke out of that new short-term base as well and traded strongly to the upside. Here now we came back a little bit in Fiverr, but I think Fiverr is looking excellent from a technical standpoint still. So I think soon there should be an attractive entry point for Fiverr. When we look at the growth characteristics for Fiverr, the EPS growth is not the strongest, it's minus 98%, but the sales growth is very strong with 85%, and the relative strength rating is also very good with 98. And Fiverr is in a hot sector in the interactive media and communication services space. So I think Fiverr is definitely a very strong online retail stock for 2021. Okay, so that was it for Fiverr. Now let's have a look at the next strong online retail stock for 2021. And it is JMIA, JMIA Technologies. Here you can see the long-term chart of JMIA. And as you can see, after its IPO in April 2019, JMIA built an IPO base here, and it could not break out of that IPO base. No, it broke down and formed a downtrend until, let's say, March 2020. And in March 2020, it could reverse from that downtrend and reverse from the lows and trade to the upside and form a nice and new strong uptrend. And also one quick note, why do I always tell about the IPO date? Because in general, the super performance phases of stocks happens in their first 10 years after their IPOs, and they make their strongest gains, and 95% of these super performance stocks happen of the super performance happens in the first 10 years after their IPOs. And yeah, now we come to the short-term chart here, and as you can see, here we had a base building phase, a volatile base building phase, and we broke out of that base and traded strongly to the upside. And recently we had another base, and on Friday we had a strong breakout here in JMIA to the upside, very strong breakout. When we look at the growth characteristics, DPS growth is not the strongest, it's minus 39%. And so is sales growth, it's also minus 13%. But the relative strength rating is excellent with 97. And the JMIA is in a hot sector in the online retail space. So I think JMIA is definitely a strong online retail stock for 2021 to consider. Okay, so that was it for JMIA. Now let's have a look at the next strong online retail stock. And it is OSTK, Overstock. Here you can see the longer term chart of Overstock, and as you can see, Overstock was in a long-term downtrend, let's say from January 2018 until March 2020, and in March 2020 it reversed from it made its low in that downtrend, and it reversed from that low, traded to the upside strongly, and formed a nice and new uptrend. And recently, let's say since August 2020, we have been consolidating and correcting in Overstock, and looks like recently here we made a double bottom or a triple bottom nearly, and we undercut the previous lows. So I think there has been happening a lot of shakeout in Overstock, and this was overdue, because this momentum move, if you look at it, I mean from March 2020 at $3, we just traded to $125 in August. I mean in 3 months we just had a 40 times move, and I mean, and then you need some correction. Yeah, that is clear. And yeah, now it looks like we had several shakeouts, so the weak hands got off board, and last Friday it also looked strong, like we broke out here of that mini handle here. So I think soon we could see higher prices in Overstock. Overstock's growth characteristics: the EPS growth is not the strongest, it's minus 190%, but the sales growth is very good with 110%, and the relative strength rating is excellent as well with 98. And Overstock is in the hot sector in the online retail space, so I think Overstock is definitely a very strong online retail stock for 2021. Okay, so that was it for Overstock. Now let's have a look at the next online retail stock, and it is FTCH, Farfetch. Here you can see the longer term chart of Farfetch, and as you can see, Farfetch was a recent IPO in September 2018. After its IPO, it built a nice IPO base here, and then it broke down from that IPO base, had a downtrend, and it made its low with that downtrend in, let's say, March 2020, and then it reversed from that low and from the downtrend, and traded to the upside, and formed a nice and very strong uptrend since then, also a less volatile uptrend. The short-term chart here, you see an uptrend, and you see here a short-term or base here, and you can see November 2nd, we broke out of that base and traded very strongly to the upside, and now it looks like we are building a new base here in Farfetch, and I think soon we could break out then of that base. When we look at the growth characteristics, these are way good for Farfetch. The EPS growth is very strong with 405%. The sales growth is also way good with 73%. And the relative strength rating is very good as well with 95. So I think Farfetch is definitely a very strong online retail stock for 2021. Okay, so that was it for Farfetch. Now let's have a look at the last online retail stock for 2021 for today, and it is PTON, Peloton Interactive. Here you can see the longer term chart of Peloton, and as you can see, Peloton was a recent IPO in September 2019. After its IPO, it built a nice IPO base here. It could break out of that IPO base in May 2020 and form a nice and very strong uptrend since then. In the short-term chart, you see an uptrend here, and you can see as well, recently we have the base here, and from October 2016 until, let's say, around October 14th, where we broke out here, and then we traded strongly to the upside, and now we are building a, let's say, a short-term base on top of that base again, and I think a breakout from this shorter-term base could happen soon in Peloton. And when we look at the growth characteristics, these are excellent for Peloton. The EPS growth is super strong with 2,360%. The sales growth is also way strong with 202%. And the relative strength rating is excellent as well with 96. And Peloton is in a hot sector in the leisure and fitness app space. And I think it will have an excellent future going forward with these fitness apps. So I think Peloton is definitely a way strong online retail stock for 2021. Okay, so these were the online retail stocks for 2021 for today. I hope in that video are some nice stocks for you which you can use for your research. And also, please subscribe now to my channel with a link in the description below so that going forward you do not miss any market leading stocks from me. So please subscribe now. And also, I had fun making that video, and I hope to see you again in the future here on my channel where I cover a lot of market leading stocks. For instance, I cover tech momentum stocks or tech IPO stocks, or also I cover internet stocks, various internet stocks or smart mobility stocks, all of these market leading stocks. So it definitely pays to come back to my channel from time to time and have a look at these stocks with me. And I think this year will be an excellent stock trading year with all that fiscal and monetary stimulus going on around the world. So I think that will be a super year, and it makes definitely sense to watch out for good stocks and do a lot of research this year. Okay, so thank you for watching that video, and I hope to see you again soon. Cheers.